What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, the ticket sales conspiracy theory that was struggling, according to a few people, including Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, that the highly anticipated trilogy match between undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson and Gypsy King Fury and Olympic bronze medalist former WBC American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder was struggling with ticket sales, thus the reason they used the excuse that Tyson Fury had tested positive for the C-19 and the fight had to be postponed to a later date. Now the date has been confirmed as to be October 19th. And the ticket sales has already reached a peak of $14 million. And that is without the UK, United Kingdom, fan base allowed to travel into the States. Now it's being reported that they're expecting the UK fan base to be able to fly into the States October. Thus the reason why they expect the ticket sales to at least add another 10 million pounds to nearly double, okay, with the ticket sales. So that pretty much debunks the notion that the ticket sales wasn't doing good. Thus the reason why they postponed it. Now, maybe on the part of Tyson Fury and maybe on the part of his team, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, legendary promoter, CEO and promoter of Queensberry Promotions in the UK, United Kingdom, Frank Warren, maybe they saw the opportunity and stated they didn't want to lose the opportunity to have the United Kingdom fan base able to be included and participate in such a huge event. And so maybe that was the reason why they chose this to, put a halt to it, allegedly, okay, to allow the United Kingdom fans to be able to come over, participate, and, maximize on their revenue. That's not a shocker. What is a shocker is that they used the fact that they stated that Tyson Fury's team had an outbreak of the C-19, and that proved not to be true. And then it was reported that Tyson Fury and one of his sparring partners, who was going to participate on the undercard, that an undefeated rising heavyweight American title contender, star title contender in F.A. Ajaba, right? So it was said that F.A. Ajaba, he also had the C-19, and he was hospitalized for a day, and then he recovered. Tyson Fury, we know that story. But Tyson Fury's team, they stated it was an outbreak, 10 or more people, and we know that not to be true because majority of his sparring partners, they didn't test positive, and his trainer and his strength and condition coach, neither did they. So with that said, a lot of people speculated that maybe because Tyson Fury was struggling in sparring and he needed to buy a little bit more time to allow himself to be able to be fully prepared for this showdown with Deontay Wilder. Okay, now that's a strong possibility as well. Okay, but with that said, now this debunks the notion that the ticket sales and the high demand for this trilogy match simply wasn't there. Now we know Eddie Hearn, who has vested interest here, because we know Eddie Hearn and his fighter, two-time unified heavyweight world champion, fellow countryman Tyson Fury, and superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, well, they want to have this undisputed showdown. They were scheduling it to take place August 14th, okay? So the notion that the demand for this fight wasn't there. They scheduled a fight for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, although Tyson Fury was obligated contractually to give Deontay Wilder a trilogy match. They still, around that, decided to negotiate and essentially promote a undisputed showdown between the two. They even came up with a date of August 14th, knowing that Deontay Wilder was contractually obligated to receive a trilogy match. So when the ruling came down from the arbitration and the judge that Tyson Fury had to give Deontay Wilder the trilogy match or he had to retire, everybody acted shocked and everybody was surprised. I don't know why. He put his John Hancock, his signature, on a dotted line and agreed that he would win, lose, or draw, fight Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match. So I don't know why everybody was surprised. So due to that, obviously, everybody claimed and stated that they didn't want to see a trilogy match between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder because the way the second fight played out, that we saw Tyson Fury get a 7th round stoppage victory as Deontay Wilder's former trainer threw in the towel in the 7th round. Okay, and due to that fact, everybody was claiming that they did not want to see a trilogy match with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. A lot of people stated that they felt Tyson Fury, he won the first fight, even though he hit the deck twice, and the fight ended in a draw. A lot of people thought that Tyson Fury won the first fight, okay? He outboxed Deontay Wilder, is what a lot of people claim, especially mainstream media, okay? So, with that said, Tyson Fury was in high demand to fight Anthony Joshua. So, now that you see that it's high demand for this trilogy match, well then, that begs to differ when you stated that nobody wants to see the trilogy match with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury because there's such a high demand. To have $14 million in ticket sales already speaks volumes. That means that this fight was in high demand. And this fight, like Bob Arum stated, it was on par to break the record of the second fight that broke the live gate record at the MGM Grand for heavyweights in the history of the sport of boxing. Okay, so Bob Arum, he stated that this fight was on par to break that record, and it was already at $14 million ticket sales. And so Frank Warren, he states that imagine what this fight would have done fight week, the ticket sales that would have sold fight week if it already did 14 million. Imagine what it would have done fight week. So now that the UK fans are going to be included, and I have no doubt that allowing the UK fans to participate played a part and a role in them stating that Tyson Fury tested positive. I have no doubt. But that's not on the part of Deontay Wilder or lack of ticket sales. That's just them understanding that they could get even more money since the fight is in such high demand right now. Imagine what we could do if we actually had the UK fans able to come over and participate themselves. Imagine what that would do if they were able to come over and participate. If the demand is this high without the UK fans participating physically, then imagine what they could do if the UK fans can participate. So I have no doubt that business-wise, a business mentality, the business part of the sport of boxing, they saw this and they said, wait a minute, there's high demand. If there wasn't high demand, they would have let the fight play out as it may and then move forward with the undisputed match. But seeing as though it was such a high demand, I do believe that they may have said, let's put a hold to it and then allow the UK fans to add to this. Because if there's not high demand and the ticket sales was already suffering, then postponing it and moving it back to October is not going to make people more interested. It actually lessens the interest. It would actually get the fans to get discouraged and lose interest in it. Moving it back doesn't help the ticket sales go up. Moving it back hurts the ticket sales because it loses interest. It loses luster. The further out it is, the more luster it's lost. So moving it back, if it was already suffering and it wasn't doing well, then that wouldn't help the ticket sales go up or skyrocket. It will help the ticket sales go down even further because nobody wants to see this. And now you even further prolonging undisputed match with Anthony Joshua. So to say the ticket sales were hurting, that's the reason why they use this as a reason to postpone it and push it back, doesn't add up. Because if there's no interest in the fight, there's no interest in the fight. Period. There's not much more building this trilogy you can do. There's nothing more Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury can say. There's no more promotions that can be added to this to build it up. So allowing the UK fans to come in and add to something that's already in high demand, well, that makes more sense because now you just add in more money. Essentially, some people may say it's greed, right? Okay, we're doing these types of numbers. Imagine if we added this to it. Give ourselves more time. That's a strong possibility. But if it was in low demand, postponing it and having it at a later date doesn't help it grow. It hurts it. So now we see that they did 14 million. Imagine what it's going to do later on. Okay, so and Anthony Joshua is going to fight around that September 25th. So it's even better because now they both going to, all parties involved, he's going to have his WBO mandatory challenge showdown with former undisputed cruiserweight turned WBO heavyweight mandatory Oleksandr Usyk September 25th. So now for them to fight just a week and a half or 2 weeks later in October 9th, it builds up the undisputed match between the two for early 2022. The winner, Deontay Wilder, versus the winner of that fight for undisputed in early 22, it just builds, it adds to it. So that debunks the notion that the ticket sales weren't doing well, and this fight is indeed in high demand. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.